Today in the Smuggler's Room, we're building our very own Star Wars character.
Ow!
We're going to use a bunch of different stuff, including that long-time feared material by the smuggler but loved by cosplayers all over the world, EVA foam. Well, maybe it's not feared by you guys, but I've always been afraid of messing it up. So we'll try not to. That's coming up. What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian and welcome to the Smuggler's Room. This week, this chubby geek is going to show you how we created our own custom Star Wars character. And we're going to do this with a pre-bought Halloween mask and minimal materials. There's a lot of stuff to do, so let's just dive right in. Alright, first up is a latex alien mask that we purchased online, combined with a pair of welding goggles that we had lying around the shop. The goggles were actually the driving force behind this ridiculous project. That's often the case for me. I run across something simple and my overactive imagination kicks into overdrive. The issue I had from the start is that the mask is pretty flimsy, as you can imagine. So we needed to firm it up a bit with some batting to give the mask the support we needed. The biggest challenge, however, was figuring out how to attach the goggles to the mask itself. The goggles absolutely are necessary to sell this project, so it had to look right. So after much debate, I settled on giving contact cement a go, knowing that if for any reason it didn't work, I might ruin the project before I even got started. But in the end, it worked out really well and I was totally excited. Now the plan is to make this character a bust, and in order to do that, I need lightweight material and something that's versatile. That brings us to EVA foam. More specifically, HD foam from SKS Prop and Costume Supply. Now, we're not sponsored by SKS for this project, but I do think there's an incredible value in sharing this product with you. Now, if you're not familiar with SKS, then you need to take a second and look at the links listed below. Steve is an incredible prop maker, and the things that he does with foam will literally blow your mind. He developed HD foam with the prop and cosplayer in mind. It ships quickly, it's packaged well, and the product itself is fantastic. So for our project, I'm 100% winging it on this one. I know that I want to create a section of this character's flight suit, so we measured out and cut a pattern that would work as the base. I also realized that we needed some support under the bust, so I used a combination of armature wire with pieces of foam to secure it in place. The armature wire is easy to cut and super lightweight, while still providing the support we need. After that, we added a few other pieces of foam to build up layers and details. Many of the Star Wars characters that are pilots have chest boxes. You see them on X-Wing pilots and TIE Fighter pilots and so on. So of course, we want a chest box for our pilot. And in order to find the right box, why not use a Rainbird sprinkler system control box? I mean, I don't need to water the lawn anyway, do I? Now there's one thing I really love about working with this foam, and I learned this little trick from the foam smithing master himself, Bill Duran of Punished Props. Cutting of the foam lightly and then heating it with a heat gun will give you an amazing look. You can see the lines pop out here in real time, and it is entirely gratifying. So raise your hand if you want to use your rotary tool to create some battle damage. character needed some kind of power cell mounted to his back or behind his neck. You know, the power cell's there to keep him cool and fresh in case he brought some foul stench on board. And of course, for this, we're gonna have to add one of my favorite greeblies, the Simply Juice Lid. And I have to take a second to thank my friends and family for really upping the level of our stock of Simply Juice Lids. The Trujillo family, the Bryans, and my Uncle Stan. Thanks, Chuck. Just look at all that stock of beautiful lid goodness. Now, once all the EVA foam work was done, I gave everything 2 good coats of Plasti-Dip. This seals the foam so that you can paint it. Funny enough, I like the black color of the Plasti-Dip so much that I left it as the base. Then I applied some awesome heavy body acrylic, rich silver as a bit of weathering. Now for the chest box, the process is pretty simple. Cover up or remove any logos, apply a good layer of primer, realize that you like the primer grayer so much that you leave it, and then add pinstriping as well as a crap ton of greeblies. At this point, we've reached the time in our project where we just simply need to do the final install of parts, as well as give items a much needed level of grime and weathering. My awesome wife put together a scarf that adds another layer to this character, and I think it's the layers added to the character that really give him that sense of realism. And it gave us a chance to also add a custom logo that perhaps is his mark or a symbol of his tribe or family, further expanding on the story. Now this bust is almost complete, but this is actually one episode of a 2-part series. The bust itself has an entirely different purpose than what you'd imagine. So make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell so that next week you can see how we finish this all up and tie it into our Smuggler's Room project. We also would love to have you in our expanding communities on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. That way, if somebody asks you what group you're a part of, you can say you're a smuggler, because we're constantly building something out of nothing. Friends and family for propriety of the Plasti-Dip. So the last thing we wanted to do was you're gonna do what? How?